Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday morning and time for another 5 for 5. In some of my previous devotions, I've shared with you guys that I'm an Eagle Scout. And one aspect of the scouting life that has stuck with me all of these years is the Scout motto, which is be prepared. You know, there's a term that's kind of fashionable right now called everyday carry, or EDC. Websites are out there where people kind of post what it is that they carry on their persons daily. You know, for me, my everyday carry is a phone, it's a wallet, and it's a pocket knife of some sort. I always have a pocket knife on me, unless I'm working out. It's about the only time. I don't know if you guys noticed, but most of the time I also have a small bag with me as well. And I think that's probably a kickback to my scouting days as well. You know, in this bag I have other stuff that I feel like would be useful to have on hand. I don't have anything planned in particular for these items, but just know that if things go crazy, I'd like to have these things around to handle the situation. So let me show you some of the things in the bag that I carry on me regularly. I have my Bible, right, that I carry with me all the time. And this one's been all over the world, and it shows its wear and the amount of duct tape that is actually holding it together right now. I also have whatever book it is that I'm reading at the time, because I'm always in a book. I have some pens, my AirPods, a couple other things. But there's some things that are a little more unique. And if you keep digging, I've got some basic survival stuff that I have. I've got some basic medical gear. I've got a tourniquet on the side. I have at least one backup knife in my bag all the time too. And usually, you know, I don't let this bag get too far from my person. It's kind of like a grown-up security blanket for me. In our Ironworks readings this past week, we were actually in the book of Exodus chapter 4. And the beginning of the book shows us God calling Moses to be the leader for his people. In chapter 3, Moses tries to talk himself out of the job. The reading this week was the first chunk of chapter 4. Again, we see Moses trying to talk his way out of the calling of God. In Exodus 4:1, we actually hear Moses say, "But behold, they will not believe me or listen to my voice, for they will say, 'The Lord did not appear to you.'" Again, we see Moses was doubting himself and God's call for him, and he was trying to kind of talk his way out of it. God answers in verse 2 by saying, "Well, what is that in your hand?" And it was the staff that Moses carried around daily. So God told him to throw it down. And it turned into a snake, which freaked Moses out and made him run off. But God told him to pick it up by the tail, and it turned back into his daily carry staff. You know, God wasn't through with just that one sign. He told Moses to put his hand into his jacket, and when he pulled it out, it was leprous. It was gross. And when he put it back into his jacket again, it came out healthy and well, just like it started. God was using the everyday carry items for Moses as a sign for the people. They would know that God was speaking through Moses because of these supernatural signs. But that's not the whole story. You know, as I read through the beginning of Exodus, I find a very reluctant leader in Moses who's not very confident in his own abilities or God's call in his life. I think God used everyday items of Moses to prove his presence to Moses just as much as he proved his presence to the people. Moses needed to be reminded of who was at work, and it was God. Where Moses was weak, God would shine through. His call was not by accident, and it could not be denied, so God reinforced Moses through those everyday carry items. You know, as we look at this passage, I think we can all identify with Moses. I don't care if you are the most confident leader in the entire world. On the outside, internally, you're still going to fight with some doubt and some inadequacies. Just like Moses needed God to use his everyday carry for encouragement, God still does the same for you and I. He has put things and people, I guess, in our lives to be the signs of his daily presence. When the enemy tries to trash talk us in our own heads, we can look at whatever God has given us and then lean on him for confidence. You know, he's put these things in place already. We just need to take an inventory and figure out what they are. In my life, there are plenty of areas where I feel inadequate, but God has given me an amazing spouse and some fantastic children that remind me daily in their own unique ways that God is still doing great things through me. They are the signs in my life that God is with me and that his power is going to sustain me. I don't know what God uses in your life to remind you of his strength, but once you find it, man, keep that in front of your eyes so that when the enemy attacks, and he will, you won't be defeated. Just like Jeremy said this past Sunday in the message, and if you missed it, man, go back and watch it, that we as believers are victors, not victims. Guys, have a great rest of your day. We're going to see you soon.